can we please stop with the roughing the passer calls are down? That is irrelevant to the point that we've all been making. I don't care how many roughing the passer calls there are. I care about the constant possibility that a roughing the passer call is going to affect the outcome of a game.
And that's up.
That cloud is hanging over the game.
Right.
It doesn't matter how many total roughing the passer calls. Well, there's fewer of them. As long as there's the constant presence that the outcome of a game is going to be determined by a referee who thinks he saw something and he's been told, when in doubt, whip it out. How do we say that? How do we begin to say that with a straight face?
Well, we're going to continue to.
but that's the problem here.
Yeah.
Not that. Well, it's down 41%. That's just corporate bullcrap.
It is, Mike. That's the point, though. That is the problem because quarterbacks aren't getting hurt. They're extremely protected, and the defense has adjusted. It's adjusted. That's why it's down. I mean, we're seeing defenders like, oh, wait, I'm going to hit the quarterback. Let me put my two hands down and not land on him. Let me roll over and break my own shoulder so I don't hit the quarterback and land on him. I mean, but we've gone beyond that now. We've gone beyond protection here. This is it. We're going down a rabbit hole of, again, this is beyond protection. It's taking some of the natural bylaws of the game away. And to your point, it's being called in some of the biggest moments of games right now. That is helping teams win or lose a game. And that's where it's wrong. So, yeah, I'm glad some of it's down to a degree. Sure. So what? It doesn't matter. It's still the quarterbacks aren't getting hurt. They're extremely protected, and it seemed like we've gone another level up here as far as what we call or when we call it, and that's what drives us crazy right now.
I got no problem with certain techniques being taken out of the game. That's something else Roger Goodell said. The problem is techniques that are perfectly fine
are being called.
Are being penalized because of when in doubt, whip it out. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So they are over-officiating in an effort to ensure that the quarterbacks are protected. And look, this all gets back to what Troy Vincent said on Sunday. 91 of the top 100 most watched shows on TV last year were NFL games, and that's because of the quality of the quarterback. So we need the quarterbacks to be healthy. So we are over-protecting the quarterbacks, even if it means penalizing players for doing things for which they shouldn't have been penalized. That's it. So the integrity of the game takes a backseat to the business interests of the league.
But
as long as they admit it and we all understand it, it doesn't make it better, but at least they admit that they are willing to undermine the integrity of the game in the name of enriching the folks who are buying the $250 million yacht.
They're going too far, and I don't think it matters anymore. I think that point is it just doesn't hold as much water. It doesn't. First off, we're seeing here, again, there's plenty of quarterbacks to go around. Call Geno Smith. Tell me how you feel about that. Call Cooper Rush. Tell me there's plenty. We all tuned in to watch the games. There's plenty to go around. Like we said, there's not enough good offensive coordinators to go around. That's the big problem. That is the problem in football right now. We got plenty of quarterbacks that if you give them a creative offense and a little talent around them, that they can make things happen, and we'll all tune in and go, man, this is good football. And regardless, like that 91 of the top 100 showed, like, that's some bullshit stats too. I'm sorry. Right. Even if two of the quarterbacks were hurt, it would still be 90 of the top 100. I mean, okay? And we lost 4 of the best quarterbacks in league last year. It still would have been 90 of the top 100. Maybe not 91. Okay, maybe one of those games gets, outdone by somebody. But that's where those are like, it's just fluff. It's fluff. I don't like it, as you can tell.
Let's get to the plays for this week after further review.
Oh, no,
Here's
here
an
we go.
Example of roughing the passer. Matt Ioannidis called for roughing on Matthew Stafford. In most weeks, I have viewed all of these very carefully and multiple times before the show, but I was busy today, so I'm reacting to this in real time. Yes, I will admit that I'm not as prepared as
this
I
is
could
the
be.
This is the Brady
helmet-to-helmet contact.
No, there's not. There's not. He does not even touch it. Go back to that first angle. There's none. There's no contact. There's absolutely zero. This is like the Tom Brady
hits
one.
The ground. Well, and again, look, here's what I have been saying.
See, it never hits.
Right, but when we assess these, now that we know about the when in doubt wrinkle, why was it called? Because the referee is told when in doubt, throw the flag. That's why. So is it, in hindsight, 100% roughing? No. But does it fall within the bubble of latitude that they give these guys? Yes, it does, because we're just accepting. Chris, I am bracing myself. Every time I see a quarterback get hit now, I am bracing for the yellow flag. It's almost like when I was a kid and first watching football, anytime there'd be like a big play, a big return. We still do that. Big return. Is there a flag that wipes out the whole thing? I kind of have that same impulse now. Anytime there's a hit on a quarterback, is there a flag that wipes out the play? Because we just never know when it's going to happen. Because things that look like that get flagged when they shouldn't because they're told to flag it. Plain and simple.
It's horrible. I mean, I don't think anybody would ever in the history of football would look at this and go, there's something wrong there. That's unnecessary. That's too rough. I mean, this is borderline patty cakes here. I mean, it really is. He does everything perfect. To your point when you started the segment, everything is perfect. Didn't hit the head. Didn't land on him. Was being pushed by another human being. I mean, they're just, they're letting NFL, they're letting the offensive linemen hold everywhere. They're letting illegal pick plays happen everywhere. They're letting RPO linemen be 5 yards down the field and we're throwing passes. It's ridiculous. It's starting to not look like football to me.
Well, and it makes you wonder how many other ways they are trying to goose offense. If offense leads to points and points leads to big audiences, and, it's funny, they said yesterday they're not bothered by the fact that points are down sharply. Baloney, because when points are up, they send out press releases every Monday crowing about how points are up in comparison to past years. Washington and Chicago, this is from last Thursday night. Justin Fields, maybe he hasn't been around long enough to merit the protection that comes from the nothing the passer rules of when in doubt, whip it out. Here's Justin Fields not getting a roughing call. When, again, this is, he gets hit low, and that's shot out of a cannon. That's not blocked into him.
No.
He gets hit low, and he's injured. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah.
It's coming in, it's at...
it's a tough one. I got no problem with it.
But the arm hits the knee.
Yeah, I got no problem with this. Okay, call this. Sure. I can do. He gets pushed. I mean, like by two people in the back. All right. So I want to say, what do you want the guy to do? But okay, I can understand the penalty being called here no matter what. And then you can classify this one under, wait, big strong quarterback. We don't care. That's what got called there. It's Justin Fields.
No call made. There was no call.
It's Josh Allen. It's Mahomes. It's those guys. It's Lamar Jackson. They don't call that. But yet, stationary in the pocket, frail quarterback, it gets called every time, and that bothers me too. Fields is strong. He's built like a great guy. We don't care about his knee. Oh, okay.
That's one of those hits too where ACL just could have been
exactly.
Could have been gone. When flag comes up at the end of that play, though, it was something else. He did not get a roughing the passer call there, and he was bruised and battered on Thursday night. I got a ton of respect for Justin Fields.
He's got to watch
it. He just kept going.
He's got to
all
watch
night
it.
long.
He's got to protect himself.
And you're right. It's like Joe Burrow. It's like Joe Burrow in his rookie year,
right,
where we just felt like inevitably something was going to happen, and something eventually did. Same game. Non-call for defensive pass interference. Derek Forrest. This was game on the line, 3rd and goal. Late in the contest, Dante Pettis, back corner of the end zone. Now, Kirk Herbstreit said he just thought he saw a defensive player fighting for the ball. I see a defensive player hooking the arm of Dante Pettis. And I know it's been explained at some point that, he's still got his arm up and had a chance to catch it. But, you got an easier chance to catch it if your arm isn't being ripped down. You can focus. You can get your eyes on the ball. You can get your hands where they need to be, and you can secure the ball if you're not fighting away a guy who's trying to pull your right arm down.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's not pass interference, Chris.
Mike, I hear you. I wish we could show or see a little bit more of the play here, because just seeing it on film, too, because I did watch this play the day after a little bit, Pettis gets to the top and initiates the contact. So that's where I would go. I have no problem being this call. He got up to the top and started to try to push, and it's just before this highlight starts, and got his hands on Forrest first to try to push off and get some separation. And then Forrest, who's
call both. Call both.
I got
or just fouls. So do it again.
Or okay. I mean, I'm not mad at that. To me, I don't mind this not being called. I'm just saying to say that.
But look at the arm. Look at the arm.
I get it.
How do you have the guy's arm hooked while he's trying to catch the pass and have that not be pass interference?
Yeah, I feel like it was a little bit more of the incidental part, too, because of where Pettis had already put his hands there. And now the guy's kind of stumbling and trying to get back into play there. Again, I don't have a problem with that, but I know I side with the defense a little bit more than most in those conversations.
I was talking to Coach Dungy about that play over the weekend, and he said, first quarter, that gets called.
Yeah.
That drive
right.
doesn't get called. That's just the way it is. And
yeah.
it shouldn't be that way. If it's pass interference in the first
right.
quarter, and I think he'd agree with that, it should be pass interference in the fourth quarter.
Yep.
Here is Buffalo, Kansas City. Chris Jones sacks Josh Allen.
Oh, here we go.
Looks like there was tripping.
You think?
It looks like there was tripping. Let's see no call for tripping. Isn't that weird, though? With all this stuff that's going on to protect quarterbacks, they must have just not seen it.
That's right. They didn't see it. Yeah, I mean, when in doubt, this is the time you freaking whip it out. I mean, what are you doing?
Look at it. I love Josh Allen doing
know.
the case. He knows what happened, and that's it. You know it when you see it, and that's it. You saw the leg go out.
That's comical.
And he got away with it.
It's comical.
He got away with it.
It gets classified as the Justin Fields one. Well, he's big and strong. Who cares that 150-pound left leg just kicked him in the leg? I mean, it makes no sense. It makes no sense. That's what bothers me.
I just think he didn't see it. I think he didn't see it. I don't think – because tripping is tripping. It doesn't matter how big they are. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I think that he just didn't see it.
Then I don't know what the hell he's looking at. It's 3 feet in front of him.
And this is where – look, I'm going to keep harping on Sky Judge. Sky Judge can help clean this stuff up. It can help pick up a flag, and it can help throw a flag. Because if the referee didn't see it, the member of the officiating crew who is watching what the rest of us see can say, hey, Charlie, drop a flag. He tripped him. I'm looking at it. That's what they need to do. They don't trust that. They don't trust that they'd be able to execute it. Isn't it sad that these ideas that would be perfect to improve the NFL's product and enhance officiating, they refuse to do it because they don't trust themselves to not screw it up? That's the best defense they can muster
or the money.
For not having replay review of roughing the passer. We screwed it up so badly with pass interference in 2019. We'll never do it again. That's how I avoided ever having to cut the grass as a kid. I screwed it up really badly the first time they told me to do it, so they never told me to do it again. So they're never going to be expected to do it again because we can't trust them to not screw it up. It's kind of sad when you think about it, but that's where we are. Here's another one. Juju Smith-Schuster, same game, called for taunting because he made a hand gesture at the Bills' sideline. There's Juju. There's the play. He gets up, and let's see what he did. He
did nothing. He who knows what he did. He might have said peace, love, and happiness. I mean, again,
he did first down. He did a subtle little it's first down.
Yeah. Oh my gosh!
There.
Like it's too much influence in the game. Too much influence.
Yeah, and here's the problem. I see taunting happen all the time now that doesn't get called, where a guy stands over someone. The exact thing they have told us we don't want to see.
Right.
Where guy tackles the offensive player, stands over him, thumps his chest and looks down. Not quite the, as you say, dangling the man jump, but the thing that they tell us time and again, we don't want. You can do it away from the player. You can thump your chest and you can celebrate, and that's fine. But if you do it over the player, that's when it's taunting, and we see it not called. That's what bothers me. I hate the rule, but I hate it even more if the rule isn't consistently applied.
Yeah, me too. I mean, again, I think if he's in the middle of the field and there's just defenders there, that it wouldn't get called. I mean, I don't know what he did. He wiped his nose and pointed first down. That's what it looked like he did. One thing I can tell you is that not one person, play the replay again, on the Bills sideline thought it was taunting or anything wrong. No one even gave a shit. I mean, nobody. So that to me says a lot too. Nobody was like pointing like, oh, he said this or did that. Nobody cared. It's over officiating. It's over officiating. I didn't come to the game or turn it on to watch Johnny Black and White Stripes influence who wins the freaking game. Get out of here.
And the entire rule reflects a complete misunderstanding of what it means to play an emotional sport. You cannot flip it off.
I'm getting to the point where I think normal humans can't be referees, that it has to be all ex-players. I almost am getting to that point. I don't know if they can really follow the game. I think it's too violent and too quick. They don't know what they're looking at. they're too influenced by 345 and worried.
Hey,
there's part of me
I've
that's
been
starting to
saying
think
that
it's
for
too
years.
much.
You got a bunch of middle-aged folks out there
Right.
with no protection, no helmets, no pads, no anything, and it's all blur and flash and whiz by, and you're trying to figure out what happened. It's not the easiest thing to do, which is why I think they need. Look, I've gone next level on this in the past and said, how many do you really even need on the field? Like, can't you officiate a game with people who are just watching the camera angles? Can't you do that? Can't you have dedicated camera angles so you don't have to put people out there among the gladiators? I guarantee you, if somebody ever gets, God forbid, if somebody ever gets trampled and killed, there'll be maybe 2 on the field, not 7 on the field. That's kind of how things work. They'll react, they'll overreact, and they'll officiate it that way. All right, let's take a break.
Oh, man, we got 2 more to get to. Damn it.
Well, the Micah Parsons one, I'll just say this real quick. I think somebody said something to someone through the earpiece.
You think that's what happened?
Yeah. I think. Now, that was taunting, and it should have been called, but I think that 9-second delay was somebody somewhere said, hey, that's taunting, Phil. You need to throw the flag.
Well, this is...
it came way too late.
This is what you're talking about. This is out of the book. Like, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. That's not a good look. It's not what we're trying to teach young kids, high school kids, how to play football. So I'm fine with that call there. Yes, it's the fact that the replay was over and Chris Collinsworth was going, I'm surprised there's not a penalty here. And Tirico goes, actually, they just threw one. It was more than 9 seconds. That's where it didn't look good on TV.
Here's what they're trying to prevent. Because some people say, oh, they don't want there to be a rumble later in the game. What they're trying to prevent is Dallas Goedert at some point later in the game,
right,
away from the action,
cleaning his clock,
getting his revenge.
Right.
That's what they're trying to avoid.
Right.
With a clean legal hit, but they take away the incentive to do that if Goddard doesn't emerge from that interaction pissed off thinking, I'll get him later.
Exactly
They
right.
want to get away from that, I'll get him later
That's right.
mindset.
Players will headhunt for that, and they're going to look for that opportunity to go, I'm going to get that mother effer back as soon as I can, and they'll look for it the whole game just to get that one shot to get the payback.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.